Before we get started here, just an FYI, there are spoilers for the second to most recent episode of Attack on Titan Season 2. That is the episode entitled Warrior. There's even a little vague references to some spoilers type stuff from Game of Thrones this most recent season, so don't come complaining to me if you get spoiled on something after this warning. 4 years waiting for the Attack on Titan anime to return. One of my favorite anime, and outright one of my favorite shows. That is until the disastrous episode 6 of season 2. What quite a few have called the most epic shit ever has done nothing but cause me to change my opinion of Attack on Titan quicker than any show ever. It was like watching the final 4 terrible seasons of Dexter crammed into 24 minutes. I felt demoralized as I sat there even 10 minutes later with a visible grimace on my face. The key reason is one that I've noticed a few others criticize as well, that being the incredibly casual way in which Reiner reveals to Eren that he is the Armored Titan and Bertolt is the Colossal Titan. There you have it, the two greatest threats to mankind, the two foes responsible for breaking down the walls of humanity's last bastion, the two people most responsible for Eren having to watch his mother being devoured by a Titan, which is the event that causes Eren's sole purpose in life of killing all Titans to be formed. Reiner and Bertolt, his friends, the people he and all the other members of the 104th Cadet class fought, bled, suffered, and despaired with. It should have been a soul-crushing moment. It should have hit harder than watching any of the show's brutal deaths. It doesn't. I saw someone compare it to if Darth Vader had called Luke over the phone saying, "Yo, I'm your dad, by the way." Apropos of nothing, while Han and Chewie argued at an equally audible level. And yet, it is incredibly unceremonious. It doesn't feel important to the characters because as it was revealed to us, every character had been filled in unbeknownst to the audience. So while we, the audience, are in shock, most of the cast aren't reacting to the revelation as much as they're reacting to the fact they're about to get into a fight. It creates this disconnect between what is happening on screen and what the audience feels. There is then a flashback of when Hanji reveals she suspects Reiner and Bertolt, but the damage is done by that point. This should have come before Reiner's reveal of, "Yo, I'm the Armored Titan, wanna come play Smash Bros in my house, Eren?" How fucking casual this reveal is, it's just befuddling. I've seen some defend it as smart and clever, that all the little hints they set up from season 1 until now only then began to form a larger picture of the puzzle of Reiner and Bertolt's true nature. And I'm just sitting here wondering, how the fuck wasn't it obvious that Reiner was the fucking Armored Titan? When the female Titan first appears in season 1, it became fairly obvious who it was before the show reveals as much. The face looked like Annie, with sharp features, a pursed mouth, and beady, soulless eyes. And that's fine, not every twist in a plot has to be some revelation or complete shock to the audience. I'll get to that later though. But it was also around the same episode that I thought, Reiner sure does look like the Armored Titan. And now I'm wondering how the entire Scout Regiment didn't also notice this. How, after finding out Eren could transform, after learning Annie could as well and betrayed them, how did not a single fucking person with the ability to solve this issue, or at least contemplate its possibility, have this thought at any point? Okay, maybe Eren and his friends have their thoughts clouded by friendship and they've ignored the telltale signs. Maybe the proper amount of paranoia hasn't set in with these dipshits. But what about the rest of the scouts? Hanji, Erwin, Levi, they've all proved to be cunning, so how did not a single one of these people notice? Clearly the 104th are suspected to have Titans among them. The season starts with a bunch of them isolated in a fort of some kind and under guard, as if imprisoned. Why not just have Erwin give a speech under false pretenses, and then lining up the members of the scouts who joined from the 104th, getting a good look and immediately noticing Reiner is likely someone they should deal with. And okay, I admit I didn't suspect Bertolt, but that's because I forgot of his existence until an episode ago. He's hardly in the show after all. But for the scouts, they should have suspected Reiner based off the looks, and then Bertolt, who pals around with him and was born in the same village. Like comparing Reiner and the Armored Titan, it should be fucking obvious. And then you think that armored fucker comes around usually when the Colossal shithead does as well. Reiner's tall, forgettable buddy? Maybe he's the 100-foot tall dickhead who keeps kicking in our doors. It just doesn't work, even on the level the show attempts. As I mentioned, the characters were already made aware of this twist, so their reactions we hear for the first time that this heartbreaking betrayal is happening doesn't line up with what the viewer feels or expects the characters to feel at that point, given the knowledge the show has provided. They really handled that information reveal backwards. It should have been the scene of Hanji explaining her suspicions first. Have the cast doubt it though, and build a sense of tension and fear. It could have been this really uneasy moment of them all atop the wall feeling nervous and paranoid around Reinhardt and Bertolt. Then as Reinhardt starts acting strange, it'd be the signal that yes, this is all well and truly fucked. That there are no winners in this situation, just despair, like the show has handled so well in the past. Reiner's rambling could have been the equivalent of the Rains of Castamere starting to play at the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. It's this mess where all the right pieces are there, they just try to be more artistic than they are capable of, with non-linear scenes. Like that shitty David Cage Beyond Two Souls game. That also has terrible understanding of non-linear storytelling. You can't just simply craft a story, then chop it to bits and assemble as some narrative word jumble. Like, I get it. I think Memento's a fucking fantastic movie, but not everything needs to be Memento. I'm not even angry with Reiner's identity being so predictable, at least from the viewer's perspective. You can have twists that are easy to predict earlier than revealed and still be satisfying for the viewer. Obvious example, going back to Game of Thrones, is R plus L equals J. That theory has existed for a long time among readers of the books and was confirmed this past season. It was still a thoroughly satisfying moment to watch, even as someone who was well aware of the existence seasons prior to its reveal and fully bought into it. To reiterate, I saw Annie being the female Titan coming. I wasn't disappointed when it was confirmed to her friends and comrades. The scene as Eren, Mikasa, and Armin try to trick her into going into the tunnel and then tension builds as she stumbles through these excuses why she can't. It's this crushing moment when Eren and Armin are so desperately trying to play dumb to the reality that Annie is a human massacring Titan. They just don't want to believe it, even in the face of betrayal. I went on to our anime after watching the episode to see how others reacted. A handful of folks have the same reaction as me. Most were really into it though. I posted a fairly lengthy comment about why I think it's broken. I asked for further explanations of the points I had already read in that very thread, and the few responses I received were unconvincing. Even on a level of, I don't like this, but I fully get why others do and think the reasons are sound, it didn't work. Responses just boiled down to hyperbole. It was so fucking epic and best betrayal in anime ever, and that was a lot of the general talk everywhere I looked on the internet. Then again, I often feel I hold very different opinions than much of the anime community. This is shitty. Real fucking shitty. Look at my Mal and you'll see Season 1 of Attack on Titan listed as both a 10 out of 10 and an inclusion on my top 10. Read my tweets as I first began this season and I was absolutely in love with the first few episodes. Even as the flashbacks and constant one-upper reveals started to not fully jive with me, I was still very much of the mind that Attack on Titan was a terrific show. I'm not doubting those thoughts, I stand by my opinions. But this episode? Awful. An utter clusterfuck of diarrhea-flinging monkeys sucked up into a tornado that ran over medical waste and is now sending not only monkey feces about at 100 miles per hour, but also HIV-doused needles rocketing to the earth. And here I sit now, really worried about starting up the next episode, thinking one of my favorite shows might have just truly fucked it all up. As always, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. It is very much appreciated. I do try to get a video out at least once a week. Usually I shoot for somewhere in the Sunday area. I'm not a professional though, so don't hold me to it. I have other things to do.